Can you save more money at home or in the bank? Let's talk about it. Hello, it's me. I'm Steven Allen. How are you doing today? So I want to talk more specifically about those videos that showed up mostly in 2020. Pause. Resume. Those videos that showed up in 2020 of people putting money in little books. So basically they were saying it's a really good way to save money and you would save in cash. You would have to order the books from people's Etsy shops or whatever. And they would say, I saved $10,000. I saved $50,000. So they would stick $10 bills in little pouches in a journal, basically. And they would do it for 30 days, or they would do it for 6 months, or they would stick in $100 bill, stick in $100 bills, $5 bills, $1 bills, whatever. And it was like, you would, after X amount of time, you would have so much money versus just putting it in a bank account. It just seems like, why do that? Like, there are apps where you can save money. It'll take a portion of whatever you buy. Maybe everything you buy with your phone, this app will trigger where it will take a few cents that it will add to your total and then stick it in a savings account that's attached to the app, or just all of these different things. But what happened to just traditional saving? It seems like what would be much easier, and this is an approach you could take, create a savings account. It could be with your bank account or a different bank account. And what you do is you get a debit card with it. You cut up the debit card so you can't pull money out of the account easily. You make sure it's an account that takes a long time, maybe like a few days, a week, or 3 days to do like a transfer. So you look to see like transfer speeds from your main account to whatever this account is, especially if it's a third party, like it's a completely different bank. And then you set that up, you add money to it, and that's your savings for whatever you want to do. And since you don't have a debit card that you can use with it to pull cash out of an ATM, it's very difficult to get to. And then maybe with the app as well, you can put limits on how much you can transfer out of the account per day. So you could say like $20 limit. Also, with savings accounts, you can only transfer up to, I think it's 6 times per month. A checking account, it's unlimited, at least for a personal checking account. With a business account, there are other things with it. But also choose a savings account where you don't have to have like that fee, where it's like a maintenance fee. I wanted to do a video about that, but I guess I'll talk about that in a different video. I don't know how we're going to stretch this out for 20 minutes, but to me, it does not make sense to save IRL in person without using a bank and you put it in a booklet in your house. Especially if you tell people about this booklet, then they can just take money out. Also, if you need a book to put money in to save because you don't have enough self-control to stick it in a savings account and not pull it out, I can guarantee you're going to pull money out of your little booklet and go to McDonald's or go to Starbucks. So it just seems like there are much easier ways of selling booklets on Etsy. But that was a huge trend that was going on, and it was more than one person. So I'm not like targeting one person and like putting her on blast, but there was one main person on the news talking about it and everything. And I'm just like, well, this doesn't make, why? Like, there are also apps that will track to see the subscription services that you have and the recurring payments that you're getting, which makes sense. But it would be very easy to just look at your statement and see what you were charged for this month. And you're like, I don't recognize that name. Now, the only thing that could get you, and maybe one of those apps would help, are for subscription services that are yearly. So they pop in and you don't notice, but I feel like you would kind of notice if you got a $120 subscription fee charged to you randomly. But then some of those subscription services, it's like $10 or it's like $30 for the year. Now, one major thing is with Apple. So when you download an app and maybe you do a free trial, you have the issue of it will charge you per month and you won't know what you're being charged for when you get the email. I think it does break down the name of the app, but then I feel like it doesn't. One of them, they don't. But you can see it. They send you an email and then you're like, oh, I don't want that. So I don't know. We're basically talking about savings. I feel like using some type of bank is easier. I mean, the biggest thing is with cash. I mean, like the likelihood of a fire or a flood or that kind of stuff. That is suspicious, because you don't want to have like all of your money in a book and then a fire or like someone finds it, you know? I don't know. I mean, this makes me feel weird because I know that there are some people that specifically save in cash because they're doing things we can't really talk about in this video. But I mean, if you're just the average person, you're not doing Ozark stuff. I don't want to get into that. I don't want to be attached to that at all. But I'm just saying, don't do that. Don't put your stuff in a little booklet and you're messing yourself up. Also, if you have an emergency, that's what that's for, like savings in case of an emergency. If you have it in cash and it's at home, if you're on vacation or you're visiting a friend, you're out and about, you don't have access to it. Like, let's say I'm in New York City, Manhattan. If something popped off and let's say I'm somewhere in Brooklyn or I was like New Jersey, but why? But let's say I'm somewhere in Brooklyn and something pops off. It's like the day after tomorrow or one of those apocalyptic movies, and I need to get out of town right now. Maybe I can, put it on my card for an Uber or a Lyft or a taxi or something like that. But after that, probably cards won't work. Like maybe initially you can use a card or whatever, but you need cash. Oh, well, I guess it would be better to have the booklet with the cash in it. What I was going to say is you could quickly go to an ATM and then pull it out and then you have the cash on you, as opposed to, it's in a book at your house. So you have to go to the house and get the money, and then maybe the money doesn't work anymore. I don't know. This is going all over the place. It's just easier and safer to have it in an account and you can see it. A lot of them, you can get interest with it. So I don't know. I feel like, wow, I'm just stumbling. I feel like there aren't a lot of people making videos and talking about this as much anymore, but it was a trend in 2020. And I also saw it continue to 2021, 2022, and it was a lot of different people. And I just thought that is misinformation, telling people to save by putting cash in an envelope in a book up to 10K, up to 20K. And they just had these booklets of cash. That looks very suspicious. And then also, it's not safe. And then also posting that online saying that you have booklets of cash in your home. Okay. I do not. I don't do that. I feel like saying I don't have anything at all. I don't even have a phone. I don't have a phone. I don't have a phone. I don't have a YouTube channel that is monetized. I don't have anything that's accruing money. I don't have anything at all. Because I feel like when you say anything online, because that's like my go-to. I'm like, I don't use profanity. I was born yesterday. I live under a rock. I don't know anything. I don't know anyone. I've never been anywhere. So people will try to mess you up. So, yeah. I don't even know why I made this video. I have like a list of ideas and I've been talking about Flip app and I was going to do it again, but I thought, let me wait a day, talk about something else and get back to it. I need to make some more items in this list to speak about. But basically, I think it's better to use a bank account and use a traditional bank account. I think it's better to have a bank account that you can go in person, at least one. And I know that they're different people, they're different situations. I'm talking about like normal person. They're not doing anything sketchy or shady, or they have like a special circumstance where like they can't open an account or something. I'm not talking about that. I'm just saying, I think a regular person open a regular bank account, better to open one. Okay, we can get into this because we have to talk for 10 more minutes. See, this is why I prefer the 10-minute long videos. Only a few more days of this 20-minute long mess. Anyway, I'm just doing a test for the rest of the days in January to see how this goes with the 20-minute long videos. So I think it's better to have a bank account with one that you can go in person. They have a branch that's a brick and mortar branch. And it is one that has multiple locations in different parts of your country, better in the world. So like Wells Fargo, that is global. And they have banks in California, in Midwest, in the South. I'm from the South, and in the Northeast. And Chase, they have banks in the Northeast, I think in California too, but they don't have any in Alabama. I think maybe Atlanta. I'm from Alabama. And I don't know if they have any in the Midwest. Citibank, it's kind of the same as Chase. And then there's a bank in the South called Regions Bank, and they have branches in the South and in Atlanta and Alabama, but they don't have it in other parts of, as far as I know, other parts of the country. I think maybe they have one in New York that I saw. But anyway, choosing a bank like, let's say Citibank or Chase, that's going to be, I think Chase and Citibank are global. I think at least Citibank is global. I should have done some more research about this before talking about it. But I'm just saying, choose a bank like Bank of America. That is, I think that's everywhere too. But they have like fees and stuff. But choose one that is everywhere. And the reason you want to do that, if you have any issues with cashing a check, depositing a check, using an ATM, or the ATM eats your money, or the ATM doesn't deliver what it was supposed to do. If you're using an online bank, one that you can't go in person, or they have a customer service line that's only Monday through Friday, 9 a.m. to, whatever p.m. With these larger banks, you can reach someone, and you can often call 24/7. And if you can't call in this country, you can call in another country. And like that Anna Delvey thing, like that show, that movie, or what was it, the series? That girl that was lost in whatever country when she went on vacation. I think that was American Express. So that's like a credit card. But still, I'm just saying it is much better to be able to access at least some of your funds from a bank that is everywhere. And then if you want to have an additional account, a lot of these online banks, they have special incentives and features that these larger banks don't provide. So that would be like a secondary choice. Maybe that's the one that you use for the savings account instead of using a manila envelope to stick all of your money in like a sketchy, shady person. 13 minutes. I feel like for this channel, this experience that we're having, I don't want to talk about money. I would like to talk about things that are related to money. Like some of my other videos were about like how to make money on Flip. Maybe not even that, but like I mentioned saving more money with shopping online versus in a store for groceries. And that's the same for items too. So someone left a comment saying, I feel like in a store, it seems like a you problem because you could easily just, so basically what I was saying is that it's cheaper to order your groceries online as opposed to going into a store. And also because you can easily see how much you're going to spend. If you put all the stuff in your cart and at the end you see it's over $100, over $50, whatever your limit is, you can look in your cart, play a game of Jenga and say, okay, I want to keep this, don't want to keep this. But if you're in person, you're putting your stuff in the basket, you're kind of running the totals in your mind, but you don't know what really is on sale. You don't know if they're doing the price per pound and not the full price of the item. You don't know if the price is wrong. So once you ring it up, then you see. And if you go to a person, they're just ringing it up. Oh, how was your day? And then you're like, oh, wait, hold on, I'm trying to like make sure, because some of these things I don't want. If you go to self-checkout, you can see like, okay, let me ring up the stuff I know I definitely want. And then the stuff that we'll see if it keeps me under $50 or $75 or $100 or whatever, we'll see how that works. And then you could just say like, remove this item. They have to punch in their code or whatever. But if you're with a person, there's a line behind you and you're like, I don't want to keep this. I don't want to keep this. Take this off. And they're like, are you sure you don't want to take that? Ugh, I have to get a manager. Okay. And it's a lot. But when you're in self-checkout, there's a line, but not right behind you. There's a line, or at least in New York, a lot of the stores. I think when I was in Alabama, self-checkout did have its own line, individual lines. But in New York, it's like one major line, and then you have a bunch of self-checkout things. And then if you're waiting in line for a cashier, often you're standing in that one line for that one individual. So the pressure is on. But the main thing is that in New York City proper, often it is cheaper. Look at me just rolling my head, my neck. I'm just trying to stretch out this time. We're at 16 minutes. I am looking forward to these 10-minute long videos, but it's like, oh, I love your lazy videos where you just talk about trying to stretch out time to 20 minutes. Anyway, why does it smell like smoke? Anyway, not like, I don't know. It smells like when you used to go to a restaurant. Well, I wouldn't know because that's what they used to do in the 1900s. But people would be able to, like, how can I talk about this without getting demonetized? It's like a campfire, but not a campfire. Because certain things you can't say in a video. I guess I'll just leave it out because there's certain things you can't say in a video and it will get flagged and you won't get reach. So I don't know what to say. You have to be 21 or older to purchase these things. They used to run ads all the time on TV. I think they still have ads on in magazines. Classic Hollywood, they would use them all the time. Any period pieces, you'll see them a lot. It has that for some reason, and I don't know why. Because I watched this, so I don't know. But anyway, yeah, I just think it is easier to order groceries online, or it's cheaper to order groceries online. It's more convenient or easier to get groceries in person if you're getting a few items, like a handful of items. But if you're getting like your groceries for a couple of weeks or something, you don't have to carry it. You don't have to deal with all of that kind of stuff. That's not what this video is about. Yeah, just use a bank account or I mean, collect your coins, put them in, a manila envelope and then, lose it. Have someone just take it. Have all of your money in one place so someone can just grab it and walk away. I mean, it's one thing to collect change and put that in a jar because, people don't really want to deal with change. And then you can just collect it and then you take it somewhere and then you turn it into real money because who's going around with change? I once went to a McDonald's and I had just change with me because I was like, I have all of this change. I need to get rid of it. And they have those machines where you can put the coins in and then it will spit cash out. But I think it charges you a fee. And I'm like, I don't know if they count that correctly. We're just assuming they count it correctly. But I didn't have enough change for that. It wasn't like a bucket, but it was like a cup worth, like a soup bowl. And I had a bunch of quarters and I thought, well, I could just go to McDonald's because their items are cheap and I could just order with this. And it felt very like, you can't afford this. You can't put it on a card. And I was like, well, I want to use this change. It's just sitting in my home collecting dust. And there was this guy and he was trying to pay for some Church's chicken with, not Church's, Popeye's chicken with, I think it was quarters. Like he had a few dollars, but then he had change and he was doing it. It's like, we need to get rid of this change. What do we do with it? And I had a little plastic bag and I was like, this feels embarrassing, but I want to spend it. And how else, You do. Are you going to go to a bar and get a drink and be like, 1, 2, 3, 4, 2 dimes? Like, really? One time I went to, well, yeah, this is related. One time I went to a bar and this was recently, he was like, it cost, 9. And I gave him a 20 and he gave me a 1. And I was like, how much was this drink? And he was like, oh, it was just, it was 9. I was like, I gave you a 20. And then he looks in the cash register. He was like, oh, sorry. Yeah, you did give me a 20. And I was like, as he was looking, I was like, what am I going to do? Cause like, how is he going to know what he just put in? And I can't prove really, cause it was cash. I guess they have cameras and stuff around, but I don't want to deal with like, I definitely gave you a 20 cause I didn't even have any 10s. So I was just like, that is the reason I like to pay in cash when I'm going places like that, because they'll say it's $9 or it's $5 or it's whatever it is. You boop with your card or you give them your card. They charge you whatever they want. You get home the next day, you're not looking. A few days go by and you're not thinking about it anymore. They could have charged you like $50. And like, is that the end of the world? No, but that's your money. That ain't they money. And then he gave me the actual correct change. I think he gave me a 10 back. And I was looking at it like, okay, well, I guess you're just getting a $1 tip because maybe that's what you deserve. You tried to steal $10 from me. But then he took it back immediately and gave me 5 and 5 1s. That had nothing to do with this video, but I just thought I would mention it because it popped up in my mind. I don't know where we're going to go with this, Chanel, this experience. I want to talk about stuff that is related to money, but not like actual cash money. I think it's disgusting to talk about like how much specifically money you are making and like talk about how much money you're making, how much you budget and like how you're struggling to pay for stuff. Like there are other ways of growing online without having to expose your life, you know? That is just kind of gross. Like that's one of those things where it's like, are you talking about, well, we're going to stop there because I was like, certain things you just don't have to tell. Like if you want to tell that, fine. And I think one thing is like, let's say that you are a social media person, you make the bulk of your money through YouTube, or you make the bulk of your money through whatever, maybe your website. And so you're like, I'm going to talk transparently about YouTube because I don't make that much money there. Or that's only one of my forms of income. So I'm going to talk about it and expose it and show it. That seems fine because that's not just telling all of your stuff, but like there was an episode of House, I think. The person was in the hospital. They got in front of their fans, their followers. This was like, 15, 20 years ago now. And they were like telling everything and their illness. And the doctors were trying to figure out what they had. And they were making it difficult because the fans or supporters or subscribers were trying to chime in and say like, no, you're wrong. And it's like, look, too much. You're exposing too much. And are you getting paid for this? Are you even monetized yet? Like people are already nosy. Don't make it that easy for them. But anyway, I went on for way too much and I feel very awkward about this whole experience, but that's enough for now. Until next time, take a little time to make art and be brilliant. Hit the plus, hit the star, hit the button, hit the like, subscribe, follow, do all the stuff. I'll talk to you later. Goodbye.